Alright, we got our first patch note post Nighthaven. This is the first like minor update. There was technically a hot fix, and then this is a minor update. I don't know if they're going to do a major one or not, but this one contains a lot of bug fixes. So I thought we'd go over it. The Discord in the news section, you can see all of these issues laid out, or you can go to Twitter slash X slash whatever it's called these days and kind of read the notes from there. But I'm going to go through it on the Discord because I find it a little bit easier to read from this. So, in terms of what is happening, in 2 hours from now, the game will go down for an hour and a half, and then we'll come back, and all the bugs will be fixed, and New World will be great again. Except probably not, but maybe. So they fixed some issues with some soul trials. They fixed some issues with you not being able to progress in quests. So that's good that those are addressed. They fixed some issues related to Catacombs, where you weren't able to progress because of Rafflebone spawns. You weren't able to extract because the thing bugged, and you couldn't interact with levers. So maybe now you will be able to get some more secret rooms or something like that because the levers are actually working Catacombs. If you guys want to see a more in-depth Catacombs guide, please let me know. By the way, I haven't done one, but we're consistently getting to 5 Catacombs now. So 5 out of 6 bosses, and that puts Catacombs at a point where it's probably a better way to farm gear than it is to farm at the open world tower spot. I think if you can average 4 to 5, you're about Catacombs becomes a little bit better, and it drops the same perk pool as the drop rate in the tower spot. It's just the gear, you get to pick what you get. So if you want earrings with 2 locked perks, you can get earrings with 2 locked perks. If you want gear with 2 locked perks, you can get gear with 2 locked perks. So that's kind of the beauty of doing Catacombs versus sitting at the tower and AFKing. But this sitting at the tower and AFKing, I know, is much more chill, assuming that you have some FPS and aren't getting blasted off the top of the tower like I did a few times. That was less fun. But with that being said, other things that were fixed, there was a secret door that wasn't opening, so that is adjusted. They fixed an issue where artifacts would revert to a previous gear score level after being upgraded at the gypsum kiln. This scares me a little bit because I think they posted about this. I'll search for updates in the Discord once we get through this and see if there's anything from the devs that glean from this. But I'm pretty sure the devs said that they might revert everybody's artifacts back to their base and just refund the shard. So if you're at higher shard count, there's a chance that it will just go over the cap and it'll be lost forever. If that's the case, that's not very cool, but we'll see how this works out. Fixed an issue that allows, or I guess by the time you guys see this video, you would have figured out how this works out, so hopefully it didn't screw you. Fixed an issue that allowed old perks to be placed onto a new crafting item. So this is like where you force Enchanted 1 onto Enchanted 2 gear. They're saying this wasn't intended, so remove the ability to use perks on items on these recipes. The the one that this is really interesting for is if they remove the ability to slot gem slots on crafted gear, because before one of the tricks was you would craft gear, you would force a gem slot, and then it would roll 3 random rolls. I don't know if they took that ability away or if they took the ability away to force everything in general, or like what they're doing there, but that will be really interesting to see how that works out. For already crafted items, they are basically replacing it with an empty charm slot for the corresponding perks. So you basically get the mutation equivalent of loot, where you can get up to 4 defensive perks. You can get 4 skill perks. I think technically, I don't know why you'd want 4 skill perks on a weapon. It seems kind of stupid. Or 4 offensive perks. Or you can get like a gem slot and then 3 of the others, which is generally ideal. So for like PvE, if you're on top of this and you saw this note earlier, you could have actually basically set yourself up to get BIS, and you could have crafted using mods gear and tried to get with an offense perk, and then if you got 3 offense perks plus one of these mods, then and a gem. So, or sorry, if you got 2 offense perks plus a gem and you forced an offense slot, that offense slot would have been converted into an offense charm thing, and you would have ended up with BIS for PvE. So that's something that was kind of cool that was possible because of this fix. But nevertheless, this is how perks are getting converted. So skill ones become skill slots, offense ones become offense slots, defense ones become defense slots. That's about it. They fixed an issue where applying the last perk charm of any type in your inventory to an item causes that item charm to be broken if applying it to a perk charm of that type. So a little bug when interacting with gear. Fixed an issue where territory standing boosters do not apply to Nighthaven. That's annoying. It reduced the distance of players could hear the doors open in Nighthaven. Thank God, that was really obnoxious. Hopefully that works with gates too, and they're just calling gates doors. fix an issue where the focus set, the tenacity set, and several infix items were not appearing on the PvP reward track. This opens up PvE BIS to be very different, by the way, if they fix everything. There is a PvE light related likely best in slot affix that will give you extra 15% extra damage to poison targets. So as long as a boss is poisoned, everyone in your party is doing 15% more damage if they have this equipped. That is likely going to be very, very good. If that gets fixed here. Also for healers, the focus set is in the game, so congratulations. Now you can go farm that to your heart's content. And for the tenacity set, we have access to a lot more pieces, which will just hopefully make that grind a little bit easier. You can see what pieces actually roll. Sorry, I finished recording a different video a second ago. But you can see what pieces actually roll if you go to New World Buddy and you go to items. You go to equipment set and you can enter them in. So for tenacity and for second wind, or not second wind, for focus, we can look at them real quick. So these are the focused items. I'll just go through them. We'll talk about any that have like really good affixes. The hood has kind of an interesting affix, but I don't think it's like that crazy. It's just if you're getting dove and you try to heal yourself and someone CCs you, then you're going to be able to heal yourself for free. The chest is really crazy, but it only works off of single targets, which is noteworthy. Single target heals. Focus speed is just nice to have. And that's the focus set. So, moving on to I guess we should talk about the focus bonus too. The focus bonus will give you increase the healing of targets outside of Sacred Ground or Beacon. So it's just generally good if you're trying to heal someone that's like trying to run away and are in something. And healing is increased by 15% and cooldown is reduced by 5% on heal while holding a weapon out for 10 seconds. This focus too, does it work versus any heal? This has the potential to break the game is like the thing that's noteworthy. It looks like this might work versus any heal. Yeah, it's unhealed. Oh my god. That might break the game. So the question here for anyone that gets the focus set when the patch comes out is if you drop an AoE heal, does that just like give you a ton of ult charge, or does that give you limited amounts of ult charge? Because I don't see an activation cooldown on here, which would suggest that it would give you a ton of not ult charge, sorry, it would like reduce the cooldowns of your other skills by a lot. So focus set might become really, really good if that's the case, and I imagine that will get patched out in the future if that is the case, but that's something that's kind of noteworthy. It might be worth exploring. Moving on to the other set, we can look at the tenacity set. So the tenacity set, some of these pieces just weren't added to the game. If you went down, this is the current patch, right? Not the one that you guys have tomorrow. You could see that they were not actually added to the, well, actually that one was added to the game, but there's a couple of these that weren't. I think the chess piece wasn't. Yeah, this is PvP set items in the playtest thing, but it's not actually a drop in the game, so they added some of these to the game. But in terms of what tenacity does, it's the thing that gives you grit. Seems like it's going to generally be best in slot for PvE. In PvP is would probably be pretty good in general. Ring gives you armor pen. Head is okay, I guess you want crit chance. The chest piece has the potential to be kind of crazy for ult charge with tenacity rebound. This tenacity rebound didn't have an activation cooldown, I think, last time I looked at it, so this should be proccing a lot and will be a really, really good source of rune charge, most likely. We have the gloves, which are just decent. Legs are just decent. Actually, did it come with prolonged favor? Prolonged favor, double defensive slot. Those are actually kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That's best in slot for a lot of defensive builds. Especially at the roll shirking fort, which is a random perk option. And then Lightfoot will increase incoming heals by 10% if crit is active. That's also insane. All of these are coming with a lot of defensive slots. These are actually like really, really good for a lot of tank rolls. Like the boots and the legs are like kind of nuts. The jewelry is okay. You will need to get up to 4 items if you want to get access to this extra bonus, which is noteworthy. Just know that if you get the earring, you're locked into like refreshing move, which isn't really ideal. If you get the amulet, you're locked into well-being and unimpeded, which is also not ideal. And if you get the ring, I mean, that's also not ideal. So what I would probably do if I were trying to use a set is like this chest piece is decent. The headpiece I don't think is that good. But the chest piece is decent, and the boots and the legs are good, and then you probably want to use a weapon to get the last slot up if you're trying to get the last slot. So that's what I would look for. But that's it in terms of that. In terms of other things that were added, they fixed some main story quest issues. They fixed an issue where the elementally charged set bonus wouldn't trigger for the chest piece for the bonus uh, was not equipped. Fixed an issue where the elementally charged set bonus wouldn't trigger if the chest piece for the set bonus was not equipped. Okay, so you had to have the chest bonus out for the elementally charged thing to work. The elementally charged chess piece is insane because it worked before when you didn't have the set bonus, so that might get fixed. I don't know if that was a bug or not, but um, I'm kind of confused in the wording here, so that's something to look out for. And they fixed some crashing issues. So overall, a good amount of changes for an update. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it's a little bit less buggy than the current version of the game, and we'll see how this plays out. And I'll see y'all later.